In this video, I will explain how to apply to study in Finland and what are the differences between the Finnish joint application and separate application systems. What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Oliver and I'm a master's student in economics at Aalto University in Finland. And on this channel, we talk about education and early career development, specifically here in Finland. So if you are new here, do consider subscribing. Alright, so how do you actually apply to study at a Finnish university or a University of Applied Sciences? Well, to put this into simple terms, there are two normal application methods that you can use specifically when applying to study a bachelor's or a master's level degree. These are called the joint application and the separate application systems. Why I'm saying that the joint and separate applications are the normal methods to apply is because there are actually other ways to apply to study in Finland, but these are a bit more special, and I'm actually making a video about these additional ways to apply in the upcoming weeks. Anyways, what are the joint and separate applications? So the joint application is a system that you can use to apply up to 6 different degree programs with one application form. So these 6 options may include degrees from one or several different universities or universities of applied sciences. So there are 3 joint application periods each year, 2 of which offer study programs in English. One in the spring and one in the autumn. The spring joint application period is usually held in January, while the autumn period in September. Those who apply in the spring application period start their studies in the autumn, while those who apply in the autumn start their studies in the spring term. So for example, people applying in the 2021 spring joint application period, which is held between January 7th and January 20th, will start their studies either in late August or early September in the same year. So as mentioned, when you apply using a joint application, you can apply up to 6 different degrees with the same application form. So what is important to note is that when you apply to English taught programs using the spring joint application, you do not have to place the programs that you apply to in an order of preference. In addition, when using the spring joint application, you may be offered several places of study at the same time. However, because in Finland you can only accept one place of study per term, if you are accepted to multiple degree programs with your spring joint application, you have to choose which place you wish to confirm. So this is a bit different if you apply in the autumn joint application period. Because when you apply in the autumn period using a joint application, you must place the degrees that you apply to in an order of preference. More importantly, you can only be offered a place of study in one degree program. So how this works is that in the autumn, you will be offered a place to that program that you have placed highest on your priorities and to which you have enough points to be accepted. So for example, if you don't have enough points to be admitted to the program that you had as your first choice, you will be accepted to your second option. Also, in this case, the options that you had lower on your list will be cancelled and you cannot accept a place of study from those options. However, you can remain on the waiting list for a possible study place in your first option. So this is useful in the case that you are, for example, the first person on the waiting list for that first option and someone who was admitted to study there cancels their place in that degree program. In this case, you would then be bumped up one slot and you would be admitted to your first option. So I know that this can be a bit confusing, so let me give you a practical example of the autumn joint application. So let's say that you apply to study a business degree at Aalto University, the universities of Turku, Oulu, and Vaasa, as well as the Hanken School of Economics. Also, let's say that you have these schools listed in this same priority order. So let's say that when the results come in, you find out that you just barely didn't have enough points to get admitted to Aalto University, but you had enough points to get admitted to the University of Turku and Oulu. So in this case, you would be offered a place at the University of Turku and you are allowed to stay in the waiting list for Aalto University. However, all of the other options would be cancelled. If you are happy with the University of Turku, you can go ahead and accept your admission. However, if enough people were to cancel their application to Aalto University, which doesn't really happen in the real world, and you were high enough in the waiting list, you still have a chance of getting a place at Aalto University. So that's basically how the autumn joint application works. Again, for the spring joint application, you do not need to place the schools in a priority order, and you can accept the admission offer from any of the schools that have offered you a place of study. Alright, so before I explain how the separate applications work, let's take a quick break and thank today's sponsor, which is HOAS. So HOAS, or the Foundation for Student Housing in the Helsinki region, is a non-profit foundation that rents, builds and maintains housing for students in the Helsinki metropolitan area. They offer some of the best and most affordable apartments for university students in the capital region, and I've been living in their apartments throughout my studies. I really recommend that you check out and apply to one of their almost 10,000 apartments in the Helsinki region. More information about HOAS and their apartments through the links in the description box below. Alright, so the second way to apply to study in Finland was to use a separate application. This means that you apply to a university program by filling literally a separate application form for each study program or university. This means that programs that use a separate application cannot be applied to using a joint application or vice versa. Using a separate application can be done in many different ways, and the exact way to apply depends on each school. For example, one option is to send multiple separate applications individually for each program offered by the same university. However, another way is to send just one separate application that covers several programs offered by the same school. To how many programs inside the same university you can apply to using one form depends on the university itself. Also good to know that separate applications are filled either through the studyinfo.fi service or through the university's own website. So I think that the separate application is actually the more confusing application method out of these two, so joint and separate, because the exact application period and the where and how to apply depends on not only on the university, but also on the degree program in question. So because the differences between the joint and the separate application and the huge amount of degrees presented in the studyinfo.fi service can feel a bit confusing, especially for people who are just for the first time looking at the different degree programs in Finland, my recommendation is that you follow these following steps. First, figure out which field it is that you want to study in general: business, engineering, languages, biology, or something else. When you know the general field, look for universities that have degrees in these fields, keeping in mind that not all universities and universities of applied sciences offer degrees in every single field. For example, Aalto University doesn't have a faculty in biology or medicine, but then on the other hand, the University of Helsinki doesn't have a faculty in engineering. So again, find the relevant universities. Third, go through the relevant degree programs from each of the universities that you found. For example, Aalto University has 59 different master's level engineering degree programs, so just saying that you want to study engineering is not enough. Remember to check all the relevant and interesting degree programs from all the universities that you found in step 2. Alright, so after you have listed all the interesting degree programs, you should move to step 4. So step 4 is to go back to the university website and check how and when to apply to each of your chosen degree programs. You have to go through all of the 4 steps I mentioned in order to have a good idea of which application method, joint or separate, you need to use for each degree program. More importantly, after these steps, you will know when are those applications open for each university. After you've done all of this, you can start checking the individual application criteria for each program and actually start prepping your application documents. Anyways, if you are interested in learning more about studying in Finland, I recommend that you watch this video and go through this entire playlist where you learn more about the Finnish university system and what it's like being a student in Finland. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.